So just
the bar hits.
I think we're already live, but whatever. We are live for show number 77 on this week's Flippinar with Renikia and Adria. And I'll turn it over to Adria.
Hello, welcome. It's November 8th. Second Thursday in November. This year is moving along quite fast. Heck, next time you know, it'll be Thanksgiving and then Christmas and all that good things. But you still have time to get you a check. You still have time to learn this business. Watch the 300 plus videos that Ty makes available to you. Utilize your resources, such as Ms. Renikia. Also the tools that Ty provides. Steal You Later, aka PropStream. Meltflip.com, 5050.deals. There's a lot of stuff to do. But welcome. I just got fanned off, so let me get started. Hey, Renikia.
Hello. How are y'all today?
Well, I'm well. You good?
Super
well.
He's super. Okay. Well, with that being said, we'll go ahead and jump in. You know how this works, guys. We're live across social media platforms, Facebook group, and YouTube and Instagram. You post your questions. I read the questions. They answer the questions. And that's how it works. Now, see here, the more I try to do stuff and do it right, I get
There it is.
I know. You stay be patient. I'm going to be patient. All right. We're going to jump right into this thing. So let's do some shout outs. I see Out of the Trunk LLC on Instagram. UGK. Super tight. Is that what you were referencing?
Oh, yeah. First album. First known album, you know, for me.
Really?
Yeah.
You so hood. T Trinity says, what up, Flip? That's the only person you see? Okay. Well, Destiny DD says, hi. I am she, and I see all you guys on YouTube. So we'll start there with I am she. She says, so I'm super nervous about starting. I'm afraid I may not find a buyer once I get a contract. Any advice?
Feel the fear and do it anyway. Feel the fear and do it anyway. You know, it comes part of the territory. The key behind the contract is that you have a due diligence period. Within that due diligence period, it allows you to back out the contract and get 100% of your earnest money back. So there's a plug in there there's a safety net that is tied into the contract. So if you cannot find an end buyer, just call up the seller and say, hey, there's some, after inspecting the property, I think this is not going to work for me, and cancel the contract. It's really that simple.
Okay, so there's an out. There's always an out. Remember that. Don't be nervous. Go ahead, feel the fear, as Renikia said, and get it done. Next question, and this is from Instagram, Mr. 313 Real Estate. Thoughts on RVM? What's RVM?
RVM? REO?
Yeah.
What is that?
Break that acronym. That's what it is. Acronym down for.
Yeah. Okay. Mr. 313, what exactly is an RVM?
I know what RVP is. What's it called?
What is that?
RVP mean?
Yeah, I don't know. Mm-hmm.
That's like when somebody invites you to like a party, so they want to know.
Oh gosh, I don't know. I don't get invited.
I thought this was God. Maybe I'm wrong on that too. But okay. You have to break that down to it. We'll yeah, go ahead.
Okay, Glenn Taylor, what's the proper way to JV? Because some people need to know.
The proper way to JV. There's so many ways to JV. There's so many ways to JV. I mean, the key is, I believe wholesalers need to be on the same page. If you're a wholesaler and your end buyer is another wholesaler and you're not the end buyer, just be on the same page. I don't think there's the proper way to co-wholesale. However, it's just the fact of putting your contracts in place, everybody performing their part of the deal and getting things to the closing table. To me, when I co-wholesale, that person become my partner. Like, hey, you know, you have the house, I have the end buyer, therefore we're partners and we both need to put up the same amount of effort to get this deal done. I don't know, Ty, you may have another proper way to host.
Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of ways to do it. Everything is negotiable. Number one. I did an interview, well, I guess that was a co-host, so I won't bring it up. And like I say, everything negotiable. Guys have sent me over JV contracts, and I've signed a couple, normally turn into them. But if I'm going to do it, if I'm in if I have the contract with the seller, right, then the other wholesaler, they're going to be able to provide the buyer. I'm going to do it normally this way, is that say we got in the contract for 100,000 and we're going to split 10,000, so we're going to get it at 110 with the buyer. So if we agree to split it 50-50, then I'm gonna do it one or two ways. Either I'll just be on the contract, on his buyer's contract, or I'll just do a contract with him for 105, and then whatever he makes, he gets the other 5 with the buyer. So he would be my buyer, and then his buyer would be his buyer. So or whatever. So, but that's just one way to do it. Then some people do the JV contract or whatever. I normally don't like to do those personally, especially if I'm trying to find a buyer for someone. I want to be in the chain of command of purchase and sales agreements, because that ensures that I get paid or whatever. So, but you don't have to do it that way, because obviously the other way works. I'm just telling you that's normally how I like to do it. So,
could she be more
specific? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Could she just give a bit more detail? She obviously, that was such a broad question. Like, is there any particular thing that, maybe she came across that she didn't really understand how to put together?
Okay, well, follow up with that and I'll go back to it. Seeing on here, I was saying Crystal is back and the baby is 10 weeks old today. Hey, Crystal.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Welcome back. Ooh, going fast.
Wow. Congrats.
Shanita Archie says, my hubby and I are doing yellow letters. Should we do a return address?
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If you got to go to a UPS store and get a PO box or a UPS store box and you don't want to use your physical address, just go and get your PO box, and that could be your return address for your business.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you ain't go nowhere. I ain't see you talking last week, Crystal. You was quiet. Too busy cashing checks over there. Okay, Richard Williams says RVM is voicemail drop that leaves a voicemail without the phone ringing. So
ringless voicemail.
Ringless voicemail.
Okay, yeah, ringless voicemail. I would have never, but I know what it is. Yeah. You asked what we think about it?
Yes.
It works. Just got it. Like with anything, you have to be consistent with it. It works. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. Instagram. Oh, y'all actually talking today. That's rare. Michelangelo says, I have a lead with a commercial property. The owner is very motivated and the building fits the demographics of a dentist, doctor's office. Who should I market this type of property to? Did you not just answer that? But who would he market it to?
I mean, I guess it's obviously a commercial property.
He said that it was in the demographics of a dentist, doctor's office. So who would he target for that business, for the property rather?
Oh, exactly. What type of buyer?
Right.
Well, it's a commercial investor. Someone that's they like medical office properties. So the simple thing you could do is you can just go to LoopNet and look for properties that are listed for medical office, and those brokers are normally going to deal with medical office clients that are looking for those opportunities. Now, they may be trying to sell one, but they also going to probably know buyers, and what you have may be a better opportunity. So that's what you would do. You're looking for someone that wants to invest in medical office space.
Okay. Josie, Okay, well, I think we talked about this particular area last week. Joseph says, do not, this is a FYI for those in the local area, do not put signs up in Irondale City. Inspector called. He said there's ordinance against bandit signs. We knew that. And to not put them back up. I asked if I could get the signs back. He respectfully declined. Oh, she asked for them back.
Oh,
I
wow,
got
that's
them.
right.
Yeah.
Go back and put your signs up before Monday at about 7 a.m.
Yeah.
Woo, can I get my signs back?
Sign back. Yeah, I'd be like, yeah,
Signs back up.
fine right in the hand.
Right. Did you really want to pick them up? City inspector who told you that they were illegal? Nah, that's a hard pass.
They don't have anything else to do in Irondale. There ain't that much going on for them to do that kind of stuff. The city inspector, they ain't got much to do. You gotta stay out of those small areas in most cases. They don't have nothing else to do. That's one of the suburbs.
Right. Woo.
Barney Fife's out there.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so hello, Mr. Proximity, here from Chi-Town, Chicago. Welcome, and you're right. Let's get it. Let's see here. We're gonna say, do you guys have a contract to do a $2,500 non-refundable for the end buyer on a wholesale deal?
Do we have a contract for it? There's really not like a contract for it. Just going to be a contract. Non-refundable only means, or it shouldn't mean. Well, no buyer's not going to. They'll sign that, but that means if I can produce, as long as you can produce a clear title, it's non-refundable. But if you can't produce a non-refundable, you got to give them the money back or whatever. So, and then depending on the due diligence period, if it is one negotiated within the contract, then yeah, it's non-refundable after the due diligence period has expired and or the title has been proven to be clear. So yeah, but again, all that's negotiable. There's no non-refundable contract. It's just terms that you initiated in the contract. So.
Okay.
So, and just to add to that, there's a standard verbiage in the contract. So is there anything that's in the contract that you want to add to the contract? That's what the special stipulations is for. Just type into the special stipulations, and anything that's written or type into the special stipulation will take first position over anything that is verbally or standard written.
Okay, William Baker. Hey, Antonio on Instagram, you had the question that was specific for the ATL market. Unfortunately, I cleared my screen and I lost it. Could you repost it, please? So I can make sure I read that. William Baker on the Facebook stream says, I have been getting deals all over the country with SEO, but problem has been getting reliable partners for dispositions. JVs have been blowing up in my face. So.
Well, hit me up.
All right, and how do we get in contact?
When you're doing projects across state lines that's not necessarily in your backyard, your success is relying on your team that you have in that area. Exactly. So if you're going to take that route and do, flip properties and wholesale properties nationally like that, then you got to make sure you got the right team on the ground in the areas of which you are trying to wholesale your deals in. If not, you're going to have exactly what you're going to have. Because anyone can say anything on the phone, but it's totally different when you're sitting across the table from someone and looking that person in the eye.
Yeah, call or text me tomorrow, 205-492-3425. If you're good at SEO, we need to talk. Thank you. Yeah, hit me up.
Wow, really? Okay.
Wow.
What was the name?
That was, I don't remember.
That's fine.
Sorry, it was William Baker.
William Baker. Hit me up, Will.
Yeah.
Baker.
Oh, and actually, let's see here. He added to it. He said, I am already #1 on Google search for top terms. What is your recommendation? I've been renting out a few listing pages. Do you have any ideas on national bills? So there you go, William Baker. Still the same thing.
Call me.
Call that.
Well, yeah, call me.
Yeah, call Flipman. He's available. Let's see here. Going to YouTube. Do you have any videos or info on probate cases and how to work them?
Renikia, please. Not my thing. I know it's nothing.
Probate is its own area in real estate, you know. But it's one of those things. All you have to do is go down to the probate office. All this information is public record. So what's been in the estate sales of any deceased person is at the probate office, and this is public record. You go down there, you just go through all those probate estates, and then you begin to call different family members and giving them an offer for the property of which they are auctioning off or have within their estate. So it's a very simple process. You start at the probate office, and there's a probate office in every county. You go down to the county, you go through their records or probates in that for that time, that area, you know, for that time frame, and you begin to do your research on the homes that you want to make an offer on. You find a home you want to make an offer on. Their family members is there. Sometimes you may have to find the family members, and that's when you skip trace the family members, let them know that you're interested in purchasing their property. And then it's like an ongoing negotiation, because a lot of times there's a lot of beneficiaries involved in probate. So although one sister or brother wants to sell, then, you know, if there are 4 or 5 different brothers and sisters, everybody have to check off on it. So it's a little bit more relationship building. However, it's a great tactic. It's a great strategy if you decide to just focus in on that as well.
All right, with level up now, hopefully that answers your question. MD Carr, is there hard money lenders or private lenders that can be trusted and fund 100% without using credit or putting any money down to buy and flip? I don't really think anyone's really going to give that.
Really? I mean, would you loan money out to someone? Would you loan your own money out with those terms? You know, so you got to put some skin in the game. You know, you yourself personally won't loan your own money out without someone showing that their track record of being able to make these payments or things of that nature. So no, there's no lender that's going to fund you 100% without checking your financials, without you putting a down payment down. However, there's creative ways to make this happen. Doesn't have to be your money. You can bring in credit partners and equity partners, and they put up the money, and you just complete the deal. So it's so many creative ways to do it, but would a hard money give you money without you putting a dime into the project or them checking your financials? No. However, we do have an option where we help you finance your project creatively at 100%, but it's a creative and you have to leverage your credit.
Okay. Glenn Taylor says, Ty, that you featured Chevy and Tammy Green, who use Dealulator, and we are in the same city and they've JV together. So you put people together. You're making wholesaling dreams come true. Look at you. Oh.
Oh.
Renikia Liver King says $6,000 balance on the credit card, $6,000 cash. Would you suggest paying off the card or holding on to the liquid cash to build your credit?
So he has 6,000 cash and a $6,000 credit card limit?
6,000 credit card balance. Do you pay off the credit card to zero, or do you keep the cash and just continue paying on the card?
It all depends. It all depends. I mean, if you have other credit cards, you know, if you at 80% of your limit, yes, I do recommend you paying it off. But it all depends. It depends on if there's an outstanding balance because it's invested in the asset, or is it an outstanding balance of you financing your lifestyle? You know, what type of debt is it? Is it investment debt or is it debt? You know, so it's kind of hard to tell without seeing the full picture.
Okay. Hey, Charles Jenkins, I see you on YouTube. How you doing today? And Michelangelo on Instagram wants to know, is there a creative method I can use to gain background info on a commercial property, or would I have to pay for that service?
When you say it's background info, or what are you talking about? Sales transaction, does it have mortgages on it, or? you know, what when you say background info, is he trying to what is valued at, what type of income does it produce? You got to be a little bit more detailed on what you're asking. Here it is.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah, because Torian posted.
Okay.
Mine didn't show.
Okay.
Okay. So Shelly Shell, and this is from Facebook, says, hi, I have found a property and doing the numbers, but I've checked the last sold homes in the area and there are only 3 in the last 12 months, but numbers are not consistent. They're 120, 90, and 52. How would I come up with the ARV?
You could probably throw out the 52. The 52 is probably as is property, and that's the property. That's probably what your property is worth before you put anything into it. So you can throw out anything that has not been renovated according to the renovation that you're going to make to your property. So you want to focus on the properties or on the comps that are actually apples to apples. These are the comps that actually been renovated and looks more like your property. So I would throw out the 52 and I would probably add up the other 2 and take the average of that.
Okay. Jacqueline Hale, you're on the Wholesaling Real Estate with the Flipman group. And I suggest anyone who has not joined that Facebook group to do so tonight. Join other wholesalers. You wanted to know where do you go for Thursday night? So refresh your screen. There's a link in the Wholesaling Real Estate with the Flipman where you can see that. Why am I talking? If she can't see it, then oh my gosh, that's backwards.
Well, or just go to YouTube or.
No, but if she's posting how to get there, then obviously she can't hear me. So I'm talking to her for no reason.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yep. Losing my mind.
Somebody can
Okay.
type it.
Nation Smart. Wow, I haven't seen this question in a long time. What size bandit signs do you use?
It can vary. Now I use 20. I'm sorry, what am I saying? I've got too much going on here.
9 by 24.
I use about 9 by 24s. A lot of people use 18 by 24, which those are going to be the normal large ones that you see. I actually started just recently using 18 by 12, which gives what would that be called?
More rectangular?
More of a cell phone.
It's long.
It's
That's
like
long
this.
height.
So your message is like we buy, then houses, then a phone number, then so it's just something different. And that's 18 by 12. So you could actually do what it'd be 24 by 18 that way. And I got this from I think he's a student of mine. I hadn't talked to him in a while, but I think that's his. He's doing 18, but the 24 by 18. So it basically just gives a different look than what everybody else sees or whatever. So 9 by 24, 18 by 12, or 18 by 24. All those work or whatever. So I normally just don't go with the larger one because they're just not as imposing or whatever. For whatever reason, when I started, me and my guy putting these out like this, and I hope y'all know what I mean when I'm saying this. The sign is like this, it's narrow instead. Yeah, more rectangular. Yeah, so it seems like they're staying up longer, and I think because they look like they're part of. Because I put a lot of mine on signs and stuff like stop sign, yield signs. So I think it's because they look like a part of the sign. They are staying up longer. I think. I'll come back to you later with some more data on that, but whatever. So, but a lot of ways to it, just get them out.
Okay. Next question. Does the earnest money deposit, aka EMD, get submitted to you, or does the investor submit it to the title company or their title company, assuming you don't charge the seller the $10 to $100 EMD?
Earnest money is negotiable. They can give it to you, they can give it to the attorney, they can give it to their attorney. It's whatever you all negotiate and put in the contract. Personally, I rather for my attorney to hold the earnest money. I don't really like giving my earnest money to the seller, because if anything go wrong and you back out, now you got to have to chase them down for your money and stuff. So I'd rather just deal with the attorney. I know the attorney is, I don't have to chase the attorney down for my money. Therefore, you know, to me, it's easier to deal with the attorney, but it's totally up to you and the end buyer and the seller, really. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Valerie, never too late. Better late than never. And always remember, guys, these videos are available for you to rewind, and rewatch as soon as we're done. Streaming, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Ty is also available on other video messaging platforms such as.
Oh no, just Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. What? Twitter,
Radio, to stream.
Podcast. That's what you're trying to say. That's what you're trying to say. Flippinar.podcast.com, iTunes, and or what is that? iHeartRadio. So that covers all devices, Android and Apple devices. So yeah, you can. A lot of people like podcasts, so you can just listen. You don't have to really watch. We do the same thing on YouTube, but podcasts you can download and you don't have to have internet access or whatever. So.
And yes, Charles Jenkins, thank you for that word. I've been totally having brain farts today. Vertical. The signs of vertical versus horizontal.
Yeah.
One simple word.
That's what we've been trying to do.
This way, up and down. Really? I said it. You didn't hear me. Okay. Yeah, okay. Oh, all day long. Okay, let's see here. Instagram from Rashid. What advice would you have for brand new investors that are still in the learning stages? Keep learning, brother. Educate yourself. Watch the 300 plus videos. Join us on Thursdays. Join the Facebook wholesaling with real estate with the Flipman groups. Go to local REA meetings. What else? REI. Hey. Oh, I'm such a homer today. Okay. What else, Renikia? What else would you tell brand new investors that are still in the learning stages? And also, maybe you can go into the 5 must-dos to start wholesaling houses with no cash or credit. Y'all see that? Y'all see that guy in the barrel of money? Wow. That's a video that Ty posted actually earlier today, I do believe, that it makes it probably 301 videos.
But yeah, on YouTube, you can access that video. Go ahead and answer it, Renee.
No, I'm sure you hit it on the head, but if I would just throw something out there to add to you, I would say just continue to educate yourself and don't be afraid to try. Don't be afraid to fail. There's no success story without failure. So if you're not failing, you're nowhere close to being successful. So just try, learn, and fail. And not saying like that, but don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to get it wrong, because when you get it wrong, you learn how to do it right.
Exactly.
So I'll just put it like that.
Okay. AW wants to know, and who pays for the title search if you're the wholesaler?
End buyer.
Okay.
The end buyer, and let's I negotiate that I take care of some of the closing costs. The end buyer always pay for their own title search. They pay for title, they pay for title insurance, they pay for all of that. But it's still negotiable. You can pay, the seller can pay, whoever can pay, but normally the end buyer pays for his own title.
Okay, pull out your calculator. Maybe don't even need the calculator for this one. This is from Justin, and I'm curious to know who your mentor is. But he says, I have a seller that wants $220,000 for a house that's valued at $278,000. Tax assessed and has one comp that sold for $299,000. I haven't seen in the house as of yet, but my mentor wants me to start at $210,000. Would this be a deal at $220,000? It don't.
It's not a deal at all at $210,000 nor $220,000. And the easiest formula for is it a deal, in my opinion, is multiply the ARV by 70%. That is your all-in cost. If your purchase price and your rehab amount is more than that 70%, it's not a deal. Or you need to renegotiate the numbers to make sure it fit under that 70% threshold. So in this particular case, 278, 70% of 278 is 194. So that 194 is your all-in cost. That's your purchase price and your rehab. Their purchase price is more than your all-in cost. Therefore, to me, it won't work.
Mhm. All right, so there you have it, Justin. Not a deal anyway. Either way you look at it, at 210 or 220. Just revisit that. SparX Investments for direct mail. How do you actually get the picture of the seller's property on the piece of mail? Is it done manually or by the processing company? Thank you, SparX, for asking that.
Good question.
Todd.
And I hate I ain't got. Oh, I know.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it's done. It's done by the processing company. So all you have to do is just you go ahead and purchase your list, and then once you purchase your list, you choose the postcard or letter that you want to send, and pretty much it just walks you through that process. If you upload your list, choose the type of the template that you want to send, pay for it. They reach back out to you to show you the proof, and boom, your mailers go out. So you just get over to, if you see it on the screen, or you should see it in a second, mail-to-flip.com. Just follow the instructions. It's pretty simple. You get 10% discount off of printing on your first order. So if you have any issues or anything, just hit me up. I'll send you in the right direction, get the right people on the line with you. They'll be glad to talk to you. So mail-to-flip.com to answer that question. This is what he's talking about. You got the picture of the property on the actual mailer that you're sending out. It just increase the response rate of sellers actually calling you. So mail-to-flip.com.
Most definitely mail-to-flip.com. If you have a list, then you have bulk. But you also actually have a pretty cool video on how, if you only have one or two or three, right?
Yeah, I'll show you how to do that using, period later, aka prop streaming, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's a possibility as well. You're welcome, Sparks. Liver King, I submitted my funding package about 2 weeks ago. Could you check into that for me? Okay. So
what's your name?
ANS Solutions.
What's your name? What's your
Libra, before we will make sure that you have access to Ms. Reniki and how to contact her. Just make sure you stay with us. Obviously, you already have that information if you submitted it, but we'll make sure that you know how to go forward from that point. And she'll explain the process for anyone else that may as well be interested. Because I do see a question from someone who wants to know how soon after bankruptcy can one become eligible for business funding? So
bankruptcy needs to be disputed and deleted. So after 7 years, it should fall off. A lot of them don't. They'll stay on your credit for years until you actively call them to take it off. So for the gap funding program, we cannot submit you with a bankruptcy. So you have to dispute and delete it if it's been 7 years or more. For hard money, to qualify for a hard money loan, a bankruptcy doesn't disqualify you. So you can still secure a hard money loan.
Okay. Let's see here. Let's see what's on Instagram. I've been skipping around. Y'all were doing really good, and then y'all slacked up on me. Yep. I've been watching a lot of your videos, and I feel ready to take action. What direction should I attack first for sellers? I've been taking down addresses from for sale by owners so far. I'm not sure what the question is. What direction should I attack first? I guess maybe he wants to know what type of properties to target.
Pretty For sale by owners. So you say you have been collecting the addresses for sale by owners. So you want to give them a call and see if their property is for sale. If their property for sale, you ask them a couple of questions about their property. You know, you can ask them, is any, what's wrong with it? What's the, how much repairs it need, what needs to be repaired. Just try to get as much information about the property from them as possible. And then you ask them, could you set up an appointment to go out and take a look at it? I don't prefer to throw numbers out there up front, because my motto is the first person who speak numbers will always lose. And I'll give you an example of that. You're thinking, hey, I paid $50,000 for this asset. The seller's thinking I'll get rid of it for $25,000. So if you throw $50,000 out there and he's thinking $25,000, you already lost. So never be the first one to throw the numbers out there, but go out and take a look at the property and then negotiate your numbers.
Okay, let's see here. Mr. Proximity, I have a seller that wants to sell 4 properties. Do I do a separate contract for each, or should I try to do as a bundle? Typically, don't you suggest individual
Separate.
property, individual contract?
Do separate, right? Because most likely, you probably won't find a buyer who's going to buy all 4. It'll be easier for you to find 1 or 2, find a buyer to buy 1 or 2, but to try to sell it as a bundle package is going to be a little bit harder than selling it individually. So you can put it on the contract individually, but you can market it as a bulk deal. So if anybody did want to come in and purchase as a bulk deal, they can. Or if they wanted to come in and just purchase 1 or 2, they have that option as well.
Priest John, welcome. Thank you for joining us. He wants to know, what is the best thing to say when the seller asks, how did you get my number?
Good question.
Public, no, it's, what did he say?
That's what we do.
This is what we do. This is, this is my profession. My job is to find people who want to sell their property.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah. It's almost like asking a bill collector how they got your number. You got something I want. I need that.
Okay, let's see here. Okay, I am she. Yes, the contract is good for all states. It is good for all states, good anywhere. The one-page contract, which is available to each and every one of you on flipman.net, or simply text contract at 313131. It works, it gets the job done, it keeps it simple. Yes, you may run into people who want to use their contract or may suggest using another, and that's, if you don't want to have a deal breaker over a piece of paper, so you very well may have to go with their contract instead. But this one-page contract, if you truly have a motivated seller and also a motivated buyer, it shouldn't cause you any troubles. It covers pretty much everything that you need. And speaking of the contract, on Instagram, someone wants to know, when should I take the contract with the seller to the title company? Do I go as soon as we sign? Isn't the answer typically wait until you find a buyer? That seller contract really doesn't mean much unless you have a buyer.
Right. So you got your full puzzle, which is both the contracts. Don't submit your contracts to the attorney unless you have both pieces of the pie, which is your AB contract and your BC contract with the end buyer. Once the end buyer sign, and I usually still would kind of wait until somewhere close to the end of the due diligence period to even submit it then, because the end buyer has the possibility to come back and back out of my property. If I submit it to the attorney and they already start working on the title and my end buyer backs out, then I could have incurred a expense with the title company for the title that they worked. So I usually try to wait until close to the end of the due diligence period.
Okay, let's see here. Jacqueline, glad you joined us. That was who I was talking to, and she wasn't even in the group, but glad you're here now. If I'm interested in commercial real estate, do you suggest I start with wholesaling first?
Interested in commercial?
Yeah, she says she's interested in commercial, but I guess she really needs to get, her feet wet and learn a little bit. So do you suggest she start with wholesaling or dive right into it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Why? Because commercial is expensive. You're going to be expensive earnest money. I mean, everything about commercial is expensive. So, I don't think it's the best way to start up at the top without having made mistakes yet. So I'd rather make a mistake where my expenses as low as possible than to make a mistake where I got $50, $60, $100,000 up on earnest money and make a mistake then. So I think wholesaling is the start to real estate investing all across the board. It allows you to get in the game. It allows you to flip properties without necessarily owning the property. It allows you to flip properties at a small expense of how much it does really take to flip properties. Wholesaling is that gateway. It's the gateway to everything else you want to do in real estate.
Okay. Antonio, thanks for reposting that to Instagram. The question is, this is for the ATL market. What do you do when you find the owner's address for an abandoned house that doesn't even live in the house, owes taxes? He's tried skip tracing, but he can't find the owner. He's spoken to the neighbors. He's also called possible family relatives with no luck. What else do you suggest? Advice from the both of you would be greatly appreciated.
I suggest not put all your apples in one basket. It's a numbers game. It's one of those things, you're going to find those properties where you can't find it, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to just let it go. I'm going to put it on the sticky tab, and maybe once a month I'll figure out if, go back and figure out there's someone I can locate. However, there is a paper trail there. You have to find the paper trail, but also understand that it's a numbers game. It's a numbers game. So don't put all your apples in one basket. Look at 10 or 15 properties at a time. Therefore, if one falls through, you have 14 other ones that hedging that opportunity. But there is a paper trail, skip tracing. All I can say is all you can do is skip trace the information that is there. So the information that is there is inaccurate, then you could just be turning your wheels.
Right, because he says the mailing address is the same as the abandoned home address.
Yeah, a lot of times you can don't ever sleep on asking the neighbors. Sometimes they just know. They may know how to reach that individual.
He said he didn't. Neighbors and relatives.
Oh, I wasn't listening.
You weren't listening.
So next question.
Yeah, next. Yeah. Okay, just because you said skip tracing, and I've seen it 3-4 times, and I see it was the last question from Miss Victoria on Instagram. How do you skip trace? And give them some skip tracing companies that you suggest. Guys, write this down. Y'all ask this question a lot, so go ahead.
Right. We get this question a lot, and it's always a good question. Skip tracing to me is yellow letters on steroids. So it's the same thing that you want to do with a yellow letter. So when we send a yellow letter, that means that we located a property owner, and we're going to mail them a letter stating that we want to buy the property. Skip tracing takes out the middleman, takes out that middle situation. Instead of you mailing a letter, hoping that they call you back, you find the owner and you call the owner directly and say, hey, I want to buy your property. So, so there's a lot of skip tracing service companies. These are the same companies that bill collectors uses. When a bill collector want to find you, they use these type of services to find you and contact you. So you have Locate Plus, which is one of the ones that I use. I think it's about $79 a month. You have People Search, I think so, People Plus, no, People Plus. Locate Plus, People Search, TLO, LexisNexis, which is very, very expensive. Any more?
Any more?
No, got it.
Okay, so Victoria has another good question, and I'm just piggyback because it was all tied into one. She says, if you're using terms in the terms that you use a lot, I know that he said exit strategy. She wants to know, how do you know which exit strategy to use? Subject to lease option or owner financing, wholesaling. How do you know which one?
I think the deal itself tells the exit strategy. So I think the deal itself tells the exit strategy. So most people that's probably looking is probably wholesaling. So your exit strategy is to wholesale this property to the end buyer. Their end buyer exit strategy may be to fix and flip the property, or maybe to buy and hold. I think your exit strategies is in the numbers. So if your numbers is below the 70%, that could be a great flip. This is a great property you can flip. But if you're looking at last week, we had someone who had a property, I wanted to say they could purchase for like 35,000, needed 10,000, it was all in at 50,000. To me, a property like that doesn't have a lot of equity in it, but it could be a great buy and hold property because it has a high return on the high monthly return for the monthly cash flow. So I think the numbers in a deal itself determines the exit strategy.
All right. Jacqueline Hill, Ty, do you need a website to wholesale? Do you need a website to wholesale?
Well,
here we go.
You're in business, so let me just say this: you don't need it to start. It definitely needs to be something that you add on at some point, but you don't need it to start. Let me just say that.
Okay, you asking the wrong person. Mr. I got
Well,
50,000 websites.
I told him he didn't need one to start.
I know, I understand. I heard you. Ty, Freeport wants to know, will you fly to their city or state to personally do one-on-one sessions? If so, how can I set this up? You flying, brother?
Yeah. Hey, I fly to Afghanistan, the money, right? If that freight gonna be something serious, but the answer question, yeah, just call and text me, but it's an option. It is an option.
Oh, Antonio had the question about, he said he would try to find the number for the abandoned house. He talked to the neighbors, he called the relatives, and I like his mojo, his get gator. He says, thanks, I'm definitely not going to give up on this. It's about $175,000 in equity. I left my number with the neighbor and offered I'm sure he probably said he offered them a finder's fee. So that makes.
Well, I wasn't listening.
But now your ears are perked up, huh?
No. Okay. I'm just saying. If it was, I know on Intellus, that's one of the sites you can pull information. It should pull a list of relatives. Did we say that?
Yes, he said he tried to contact relatives that listed.
Damn, I want to listen. Hey, man.
Left his number with the neighbor that's like, hey, whenever you see somebody pull up to this house, go out there and flag them down and give them my number. Somebody on his team, like that.
Hey, put a bandit sign in the yard.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I love that. I'm gonna do better.
They pull up and get their mail. They got a whole bandit sign in the yard.
Bandit sign in the whole. They're gonna say you get this.
They're gonna call you. Trust me, they'll call you.
Not have the right to do that.
I was looking for you.
Oh, before we go, I just want to say that list of skip tracing services really quick. So TLO, Prospect Now, LexisNexis, Ben Verified, Locate Plus. I use Locate Plus. It's $79 a month, and it does a great job. And those are just a few, and you got Spokio as well. But that's a good list of skip tracing services.
Okay, so Renikia, this question is for you and subscribers. Again, thank you for joining, and I want you to make sure you get your pen and paper ready because Ms. Renikia is going to tell you how to get in contact with her. She's going to tell you the services that she offers for you and how you can begin building your wealth using your credit, plus some other things. But this is from Lily Wynn Tobler. I hope I said that right. Renikia, you say the one who gives the first number always loses. So what if a possible motivated seller insisted that you make the first offer since you reached out to them? You call me to tell me what you want.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. And they will say that. And what I do is I give them a low ball offer, and then we get to the point. Okay, you know what you don't want. So if you know if I throw out $10,000 and in your mind you have 50, you know exactly what you don't want. So what we're gonna do is gonna go from 10,000 until we get to somewhere where you want to be. So I lowball them until they tell me what they want.
all right. So, Ms. Renikia, tell these good people how they can begin building generational wealth using their credit, what services you offer, how they can get into contact with you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So my motto is credit is the gateway to wealth. If you're not using your credit, you're not going there fast enough. Credit is the gateway to wealth. You cannot save your way to financial freedom. Why? Because there's something that will always happen in life that'll wipe your complete savings out. So understand the power of credit, understand the power of leveraging your credit, understanding the difference in using your credit versus bad debt versus good debt. Good debt is debt that pays for itself. It's exactly what we're doing in real estate. You flip out a property, it pays for the debt. And that's how you really want to use your credit. So one of our program we call the Gap Funding Program. That program helps you leverage your credit. If you have a 680 or higher, you're able to leverage your credit to receive up to $150,000 of unsecured credit. I call this program a down payment assistance for real estate investors. You can also use this to invest into your wholesale business and use this for your marketing. Take $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 off of this, or $5,000 to the side for marketing and doing your wholesale business. The key is leveraging your credit to invest in yourself, allowing your investment to pay your credit off. So if you want to take advantage of that, you go to fundmynextdeal.com. For the individual who say that they submitted their paperwork 2 weeks ago, check your spam. Sometimes our emails go into the spam or promotion folder. Put in FK Financials in your search. Make sure that you haven't heard from us. And if you haven't, email me at funding@fkfinancials.com, your name, so I could see what's going on with your file and expedite that. And I'm also on all social media platforms, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook, my first and last name.
All right, and that gentleman's name was Alonzo Staggers. So from Noblesville.
Staggers.
Yeah.
Your name sounds good.
Alonzo, look at your spam. Make sure that you haven't missed.
Google my company name, make sure, because we're pretty much up to date for everything that's submitted since Friday of last week. So if you submitted 2 weeks ago, I'm sure you have heard from us.
All right, Flip, man. A lot of real estate investors are switching to cold calling. Is this a method that you would recommend in the Birmingham and Tuscaloosa markets?
Most definitely.
Boom, bam.
But it didn't need to be the only one, but yeah, but it is one, it is going to be if you're starting out, you're on a very low budget, and if you got the skin to do it, and we've gotten rid of our gators. Get them back in the mix. But anyway,
his teeth out.
And but yeah, most definitely. I can't mention it now, which I'm gonna post the interview. I guess the next couple of days if I get to, editing or whatever. But that's how this guy found his first deal. He's a YouTube subscriber, and he found one of them on either Zillow. Well, he found both of them on Zillow or True. It was the same company, and made $2,500 on the first one, and $8,500 on there, just calling for sale by owners and people that are renting properties, and which I'll share those. I'll get that video uploaded here I guess in the next couple of days if I can get to it. So, but yeah, cold calling. Yeah.
Renikia, pull out your calculator and calculate this one real quick, please, ma'am. Okay, if the ARV is 23 to 29, so we'll go in between and say 27. The rehab cost is $5,000. I'm thinking I have to get the property under contract at about 10, 15. Is it a deal? I'm thinking you got to get way below that.
Whoa.
Right? Yeah.
So your ARV is 27,000?
Yeah.
That's only a buy and hold opportunity.
That's a buy and hold. That's really not a flip. I don't know. Yeah, that's probably more of a buy and hold. I would market it to someone who wants to hold on to that property. I mean, if you can be all in at 25,000, renovated property and put a tenant in there, that's a keeper.
Yeah, he they need to find out what the rentals are. What the rental rate is. Hopefully, it's more than $200 a month.
Right. That $200 a month. Let's see how much that return would be. Oh shit.
And guys, if you're thinking, where are you finding the house for $27,000? You'd be surprised. Any house is a step up for
a lot of them. Absolutely.
So, let's not forget that. A box on the curb, that's a mansion.
Shelter.
So,
it's called a shelter.
Yeah. So it's the end game, the exit strategy, as Ms.
Yeah,
Victoria.
Don't get caught up into where you would like to live and where you won't live and all that stuff. Get caught up into that check you can cash. Because I don't care who's listening to this right now, who will listen to this in the future. Where you live right now, for some people, that would be better than the Taj Mahal. For others, it ain't good enough. So there's always gonna be different levels. Wherever Oprah live right now, right? For some people, that ain't good enough. Because you got people with more money than she has. You know what I'm saying? That's an extreme example, but I'm just. Well, you may do, but a lot of
what he said. I'll take over dog. Definitely take 7 in the back.
Right.
There's extremes to everything, which I'm giving you the ultimate extreme. But yeah, some people where she lives ain't good enough. Well, for most it will be, obviously, but for some people.
Oh, it depends on which house you're talking about. The one in Calabasas or the one overseas.
For some solid prince that's worth 30 times more than what she is, it ain't good enough. You know what I'm saying? It ain't good enough.
I understand. You got a
number?
And
that's $200 a month. That return is 8%. So at $500 a month, that return is times 2. 16, 17%. Yeah.
So it could possibly be a deal for
somebody. Yeah.
Somebody.
A deal like that, just putting out bandit signs. He got on the, what is he gonna get a contract for? 5?
It had 5,000 repairs. He was thinking 10 to 15.
No. You need to get that. Try to get that under contract for 5 if you can. Under 10, for sure. If you can. But you put signs out to say house cheap. 15,000 people that live and do business in that area, that would be all
tax time rolling around. Somebody gonna get a tax check and be like, I bought a crib. A whole crib. You best believe it. I want to know the answer to this one from Dante J. He has his first house under contract, so kudos to that. But he has a problem. The seller's husband is incarcerated, but he has given the wife the power of attorney. The house is in a trust in the husband's name. Is this a deal breaker?
Say it again. The house is in a trust.
The wife, the husband is incarcerated, and he gave her power of attorney, and the house is in a trust in the husband's name. So if he's the only one, I guess, involved in the trust. Or what would he be, the trustee or whatever? If she has power of attorney, that she can make that decision. That's part of the reason why he would give her power of attorney to be able to make those type of business and financial decisions. So, what I know about it, what you think?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. So she have the power to sell it to you.
All right, Dante, you might have something there. Don't give up on that. Go ahead. Well, guys, we have been on. Instagram is down, so that's my timer. I know I've been on for an hour. I've been yapping. I hope we answered some questions, new and old. I hope you bring a friend next week. Don't forget, every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, we're here. Renikia is available across all social media platforms. You can also email her at
funding@fkfinancials.
funding@fkfinancials.com. Ty is readily available. Subscribe to him on Instagram, watch him on IGTV, and I'll listen to him on our radio and all those other things. Join our Wholesaling with the Flipman group. Be proactive, guys. Watch the videos, send out letters, call people, cold call, do something. You don't get a check unless you work for it. Yeah, we'll go with that. So thanks, guys, for joining us. We'll see them next week. You got anything to say, Mr. Flipman?
That's it.
That's it. Renika, tell the good people bye.
Bye. See y'all next week.
We'll see you on the flip side, guys.